Hello, and welcome to the Get Lean and Eat Clean podcast. My name is Brian Grin. I'm a certified health coach, trainer, and author. And this podcast is for middle-aged men and women looking to optimize their health and get their bodies back to what it once was 10 to 15 years ago. I will give you simple, actionable items to get long-term sustainable results. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. All right, welcome to the Get Lean, Eat Clean podcast. My name is Brian Grin. I hope you had a great weekend and happy Tuesday. If you're listening to this on Tuesday, hope you had a chance to listen to my interview with Dr. Dylan Petkus. He's a physician, researcher, and health optimization expert, and we touched on routines to help you improve your sleep, how to naturally combat sleep apnea, the importance of box breathing, how to create a great sleep environment, and much, much more. So I know we've been talking a lot about this lately, but I really think it's important. I hope you do as well. And we start prioritizing sleep. So if you haven't already, check out my interview with Dr. Dylan Petkus. Now, on today's micro podcast, we're going to move on from sleep for a bit here. We're going to touch on, a while back, I had Dr. Craig Marker on. We talked about high intensity repeat training. And I know we talk a lot about strength training, and I have some questions that people ask me about, well, as far as cardio, what would you recommend? And, a lot of times you hear about different forms of cardio, right? Zone 2's been a big one. I know Dr. Peter Tia has been talking a lot about that over the last year or two, even more. We hear a lot about sort of this high intensity training. Should you do that? And I think it can be a daunting task, especially as we get older, right? Like when you're younger, doing high intensity training is just, you don't think about it, right? You just do it. You're not worried about injury, and for me, that's a big one, right? Like I'm going to talk a little bit about sprinting, and people are probably thinking, well, sprinting, pull a hammy, right? Well, obviously anything can happen, but I'm going to talk about sprinting and how you can sort of implement it into your routine. Because we always talk about building muscle through resistance training. And I think you can add this into your routine if you haven't already. It's part of the reason why I'm talking about it is because I want to start doing it more, even if it's once every, 1 or 2 weeks. But some type of sort of fast twitch muscle exercise. It could be jumping rope. It doesn't have to be sprinting, across your lawn or in the gym if they have a track. It doesn't have to be that. But what I will say is this, there's a couple reasons why I think you should implement this. One, it's going to help increase your muscle fibers, your fast twitch muscle fibers. And that can help not only amp up your metabolism, it can also help increase your size and strength while you're doing lifts in the gym. I almost equate it to like people who don't lift legs don't understand that if they start lifting legs, they're actually going to get stronger in their upper body. Just from the fact of doing their lower body. And it's sort of the same thing. If you can implement some type of sprinting. Now, one of the things I would recommend is the sprinting could be done on a bike, a row machine, jump roping, in the pool. So it doesn't have to be, like I said, on ground with your, now everyone can do it that way if they want to. But like I have a Rogue Echo bike, which I really enjoy. That thing just kicks your butt. I mean, literally, I could sprint for 10, 12 seconds. Break. Now, you're probably thinking, how long should you break and all this? And I've talked about this. Dr. Craig Marker has a cool article I'll leave in the show notes if you want to learn a little bit about that. But I recommend for high intensity workouts, instead of just doing like, you'll see people do like 30 on, 30 off. Well, let me tell you, if you're doing 30-second sprints, let's just say on a Rogue Echo bike, you ain't recovering in 30 seconds. And what you want to do is make sure that every set counts. So what I would say is start slow, right? Start slow and say 10-second sprint, and then see how long you can recover so that next output, that power output for that next sprint is the same amount. And do that, let's just say start like 3 to 4 times. I think max like 6 times is fine. I mean, you do 6 sprints on a Rogue Echo bike, let's just say, or on a row machine of like, let's just say 10 to 12 seconds, give or take, 15 seconds, and give yourself at least a minute or so as far as when you're breaking or sort of resting, and then do that. Yeah, you'll be wiped. I can tell you that, especially if you're doing on that Echo bike. But you're probably thinking, well, why should I do this? One of the reasons why sprinting is so effective, other than just a way for you to increase fast twitch muscle fibers, is VO2 max, which is your maximal oxygen uptake. I was doing a little bit of research. It's sort of the gold measure when it comes to cardiovascular fitness. So it indicates how much oxygen your body can utilize during exercise, during intense exercise, and is a key determinant of your aerobic endurance capacity. Now, I've done DEXA scans. I've never done a VO2 max, and I'm going to go back to the same place that I got the DEXA scan, and I'm going to do a VO2 max and just see where I'm at. Because if there's one thing I maybe slack a little bit on, it's sort of in this sprinting arena. So that is something that you're going to maybe, if you have it in your area, check it out. A higher VO2 max level means your heart and lungs are in top form. And, improving VO2 max through sprinting can lead to enhanced athletic performance and may contribute to better health as well. So I think it's never too late to incorporate some type of sprinting into your fitness regimen. Even if you're doing it once every 7 to 10 days, I would say is a good place to start. These short bursts of maximal effort. And then allow yourself to recover. And what I think the problem is with some of these classes, because there's a gym that I go to right here that they do a ton of classes. I don't necessarily participate. Is they do these high intensity workouts, but they're not giving you enough time to recover, and it just creates burnout and too much fatigue. And I think more importantly is if you're going to do these sprints, let's say you're doing a short distance sprint, go all out, maximal effort, but then allow yourself to recover enough, a minute or two, to come back and do that sprint just as fast as you did the one before. The cool thing about using a bike is it shows you your power output. So you can see your power output on that first sprint and your last sprint, which will give you a good idea is, did I recover enough to actually give the same amount of effort on each sprint? Like I said, Dr. Craig Marker and I discussed this. I like to actually get him back on the podcast, so I'm going to push for that so we can talk more about this. But again, for all those fitness enthusiasts out there, maybe get your VO2 max tested, and then let's start sprinting. Add it into the routine. Maybe incorporate it for 4 to 6 months. Once every 7 to 10 days, and you can maybe do it twice every 2 weeks, give or take. And your fast twitch muscle fiber, which typically goes down, obviously, as we get older, you can hike that back up and improve reaction times. And this can definitely help your lifting out and your power output out with your resistance training, and then see if you can get that increase your VO2 max as well. So this is something I'm going to look into for myself. Probably an area I've been slacking in and focusing just on resistance training, when I think, this sprinting can give you a sort of a plethora of health benefits that we're sort of missing out on. So grab your running shoes, hit the track, or, go on the row machine, or hit the jump rope, or jump in the pool, or go on the Rogue Echo bike, but give it a try. Let me know what your thoughts are. And if you can get your VO2 max tested, I would highly recommend that as well. So that's all I want to touch on today. I hope you have a great rest of the week, and I look forward to talking to you on Friday with another great interview. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for listening to the Get Lean, Eat Clean podcast. I understand there are millions of other podcasts out there, and you've chosen to listen to mine, and I appreciate that. Check out the show notes at briangrin.com for everything that was mentioned in this episode. Feel free to subscribe to the podcast and share it with a friend or family member that's looking to get their body back to what it once was. Thanks again, and have a great day.